Hey guys, how you doing today? So in today's video, I'm going to be bringing you a Beast Mastery guide for mainly focusing on PvP for the first season of BFA. So currently, I've pushed up to around, let's see, about 1750 in threes. I think we've been running KFC. I'll kind of give you guys like a brief breakdown of how I run KFC, but before we do that, I'm going to get into the talents you guys should be running, what stats you're looking at wanting to have, and how do you want to do your rotation to do it effectively. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is go to your talents. Make sure you kind of have what I have, and I'll explain why I think they're all the best in, that you can choose from out of the talents. So 15 wants to be Killer Instincts because you want that 50% increased damage when you're kill commanding, especially when you're going for the kill, because it's basically like your execute. So if you have them low, you're going to hit really hard, and if you're bursting when they're low, it's going to hit even harder. Second tier, I run Chimera Shot just for the kind of, it's like cleave, but you don't really have to think about it. It's not something you have to like do. It's just kind of in your rotation. The only time I would recommend holding off on your Chimera Shot is when you trap a DPS, and then you have your and you're trying to hold that trap, but his DPS is running close to the trapped healer or DPS or whatever you trapped. You don't want to accidentally break that trap with a Chimera Shot. For the third tier, it's kind of like a battle between Natural Mending and Camouflage. If you're running twos with the healer, I'd say Natural Mending. If you're running threes and you're trying to kind of like come out of the, not get blown up immediately and kind of let them kind of open on one of your other DPS, run Camouflage. It really gives you the advantage, so you can kind of hit people out of the blue. For the third or the fourth tier, I run Murder of Crows over everything. It's such a strong dot, and it's not on a global, so I tie my trinket to the Murder of Crows. So whenever I'm bursting, I'll throw Murder of Crows, and then it also procs my my trinket, which will give it a little extra damage, and generally by then I'm bursting. I'll show you guys the macro I have for that. For the next tier, you're either going to choose between Post Haste or Binding Shot. I'd say Post Haste because you can get out of pretty much any route, and if you're running that and then they, like say you're fighting a warrior or something like that and they charge you and hamstring again, depending on the pet that you have, you can Master's Call and get out of that route as well and still keep your movement speed buff. So you're going to be running around pretty fast. If you know you're going to be getting trained all game or your DPS is and you're just going to be there for peels, I recommend running Binding Shot. It's not a stun anymore, it's just a root. So basically roots are in place for 10 seconds to what it says outside, but it's like 4 or 5 seconds in the arena. I think it can be dispelled by the healer, so kind of be aware if you're going to use it. Kind of use it preemptively. It's just there to kind of slow down the damage if you need it. 90, Stampede isn't good. Barrage is just, I don't see the benefit from it. Maybe if you're wanting to cleave more, but I don't really see why. Because Stomp, every time you shoot a barb shot, your pet's going to stomp and do cleave. So it's kind of cool to have that free damage because barb shot is constantly being shot in your rotation. For the last tier, I run Aspect of the Beast because giving your pet damage a 30% buff is just something huge, and then increasing the effectiveness of like your pet specs passive. So like some have like I'll show you right now. We've got for pets, you've got Ferocity, which will give you 15% leech, and then you have the Tank, which is 7% increased maximum health, and then you have Cunning, which gives the pathfinding. And if you're running Cunning, it's going to be hard to get caught really because you have a lot of get outs. Like you have Master's Call and you have Disengage with the movement speed, and this also gives you 12% movement speed as a passive, which is really nice. And for the PvP talents I'm running, obviously I'm running Gladiator's Medallion. I like Ballast. That's like a default. I have to run Ballast. And then Sacrifice. Roar Sacrifice is very nice because when you use this, you can take damage off of like if you're getting trained or your healer's getting trained or your DPS is getting trained that you're fighting with in threes. Anybody that's getting messed up pretty bad, like a initial burst, you can put this on them, and it'll reduce the damage and crit chance that they can actually be hit by, which is hands down going to help you out, especially in those tough areas, since you're like throwing one of your defensives on somebody else and giving them time to recover. Survival tactics, I kind of flip this one around a lot. I'll go between survival tactics. If I'm facing like RMP, I'll run Spider Sting and put it on the mage so he gets kicked and stuff like that. So I have my initial kick, which is I have a long cooldown, it's like 24-second cooldown on my kick. So I run Spider Sting, and I'll shoot them with that, and if they cast a spell, it'll kick them for 4 seconds. So that's basically 5 seconds straight of them not being able to cast. So it kind of really hinders their damage. I'll switch between that. If I'm going in for like a cleavey build, I'll run the Dire Beast Hawk. So it kind of does a little bit of heavy AoE damage in like it's like a skill shot circle. If we're trying to train a healer, I'll run Viper Sting. Sometimes I'll run it depending on what healer I'm fighting, so I can kind of put it on the healer. And then for that 6 seconds while we're bursting, he does 30% reduced healing. Scorpion Sting, if you just want to kind of decrease the amount that you're gonna like. So if somebody's gonna focus you, I run this just to pull the damage off. It reduces their crit chance by 50%. If I'm fighting on like a Z-axis map where I can trap the healer, and then you know, we can set up a CC chain on the healer, and I can blow the healer off the edge and keep the DPS up top if we kill. That's why I run the high explosive trap. You really gotta make sure you gotta think about the map that you're on before you pick these talents and what you're fighting. But high explosive trap can be used once you go with your traps, just to be completely annoying. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'll be running in every arena that I go into. Alright guys, so now for the rotation for Beast Mastery, what I'll do is my standard rotation is I'll start off with a barb shot, get my pet on him, and I'll just do some cobra shots, do like a chimera shot, and I'll try to get the bleeds up. So those barb shots will increase your focus regen, so that's kind of good. So you pretty much always have damage. And then if I want to throw a little extra in there, I'll pop Bestial Wrath, and then I'll just start hitting with the pet being big. And to reduce the cooldown on that, your barb shot decreases the cooldown on Bestial Wrath by a good bit. I'm not exactly sure the number, but I know it's about 10 seconds, 12 seconds. That reduces the cooldown. So I just casted it, and I'm already at 25 seconds left on getting another one. So basically, you just go through this rotation. You know, this is without using any cooldowns really, because you get the Bestial Wrath back so fast. Like, I already have it back. And that's on a minute and 30-second cooldown, but I'm pretty sure I just got it back in about maybe 30 seconds. You're just gonna make sure you're using those barb shots just to keep that cooldown constantly going and your energy flowing. So, I mean, you really never run out of energy if you do it right. You might get low, but at the same time you won't. If you need to get energy back, just pause for a second, do some auto shoots. They do a good amount of damage, so auto shots, my bad. They do a little bit of damage, so you know, you gotta got that. For my burst rotation, what I'll do is once I get my Bestial Wrath back, I'll show you kind of how I do it. It takes a while because everything's on global cooldown right now. Pretty much everything is on global, so yeah, it takes a second to get your whole burst out there. But what I'll do is I'll open with my Dire Ballast, and then I'll throw Murder of Crows with my trinket. I'll pet stun, Bestial Wrath, and then I'll do Aspect of the Wild. And from there I'll just start completely going through my rotation as normal. Focusing more on the kill commands. As you guys can see down here, we're pulling about 10k right now. And I'll kind of go over the stats next and what my gear's looking like. And it's brutal when it starts hitting people in the actual arenas. So just basically go through your rotation, and then everything kind of runs up pretty good. Alright guys, so for your stats and gear, so I'm sitting at 348 right now, and this isn't from like doing any PvE. This is pretty much straight from all PvP. So right now I'm sitting at 21% crit, 12% haste, 34% mastery, 6% versatility, and 1% leech. Which leech doesn't really matter in threes because you're going to be taking too much damage to heal, you know, at a noticeable rate. But mastery is a big thing, just because it increases your pet damage. So that's going to help you, you know, in every way. Just getting your burst going and just keeping the constant pressure. Haste, it's nice, but when I was running at like 9% haste, I got some gear upgrades, and I'll definitely say that hasting definitely will increase the damage output and how fast you can get those globals out. For my gear and enchants and gems and stuff, I gem mainly I gem haste on my gems, and then for my weapon I put incendiary ammunition. So basically when I'm auto shooting, I have a random chance to shoot for about, I think the enchant on my auction house was like maybe 500 gold, but I have a chance. I'd say like it happens like once every 35 shots I'll get a proc of this, and it'll hit for like 20k. If it crits, around 24k. So it's huge damage that you really don't even have to like, you know, worry about doing, because it's gonna do it on its own. Yeah, it's kind of randomly generated, but when it does hit, it's huge. So So there's that, and so basically it's not really hard to play Beastmaster right now. Just mainly knowing how to land your traps, when to trap, making sure that, so when I run KFC, the way we'll do it is we'll open up with a Storm Bolt when we're about to go. And so we'll Storm Bolt, and then from there I'll start CCing, and our healer will CC, and it'll make, that's when you know your first go is going to happen. And generally you try to, when you're playing KFC, you want to hit them hard, and try to get force as many defenses as you can. And then from there you want to kind of reset, kind of just slow and wait for your next go, and on the next go you usually get the kill. So anyway guys, this is Mindless, and I hope you guys enjoyed the guide on Beastmaster, and I hope it kind of helps you guys get an idea of how to play the class. So please subscribe to the channel if you like the video, and I'll be making more guides like this as well as some arena footage in the future. Thank you.